up, fam? It's your boy, Auteur Deluxe. What have you been watching recently? I'm going to tell you what I've been watching recently. That's like the point of this. But what have you been watching recently? Comment. Go on the Facebook. There is no Facebook. Go on the Instagram at Auteur Deluxe. Go on Letterboxd at Ween, W-E-E-E-N. Let me know what you've been watching, because I'm about to tell you what I've been watching. I'm at 90 movies for the year, which normally, I've been tracking my movies since 2013, and normally I do between 40 and 60, so I'm almost at double that. I'm already at double that, and we're only halfway into the year. So, yeah. The coronavirus is very real. The quarantine is very real. I set out in 2020 to watch more shit in general, but really been watching more shit. Lately it's been like 2 movies a day, so on my grind. I'm trying to watch all the shit that's been on my watch list for like years and years and years, and I just never got to it. I've been really lucky. Not a lot of it's been terrible. Some of it's been just kind of okay, and some of it's been really good. And we'll see how many more I can get in this shit year, starring Ellen Barkin. That movie's not very good. That's like a 2.5, maybe a 3. First thing I watched was The Lodge. This was on Hulu. I was surprised to find it on Hulu. I didn't even know it was out yet. But I've been anticipating this movie. It's been on my watch list since I saw the trailer. It is a horror movie directed by Veronica Franz and someone else. Starring Riley Keough from It Comes at Night, from Under the Silver Lake, from The House That Jack Built. So she's been in a couple of interesting movies the last couple of years. And the director also, it's a team, but the woman is Ulrich Siedel's wife, and she wrote a bunch of his films. She wrote Dog Days, she wrote the Paradise Trilogy. But this directorial team did Goodnight Mommy, which has been on my watch list since I saw the trailer for that too. But a lot of horror I don't really ever get around to, because it's so easy to just kind of lump it all together. Horror. I don't want to say horror movies are like, if you've seen one, you've seen all of them, because that's obviously not true. And this movie is very much evidence that is not true. But a lot of horror movies, if they get on my back burner, they stay on my back burner, because I kind of fucking mix them in together. Like, you call something The Lodge, The Demon, that you give like these vague ass titles. Especially another thing I've talked about is like names. If you name your movie Emma, Gretchen, Hannah. I still haven't seen Hannah. You gotta give your name a good movie. You gotta give your movie a good name if you want me to watch it with any urgency. But anyway, that being said, I did watch The Lodge, and I do think great horror movies kind of transcend the genre. They're great movies first. Oh, I forgot to say, yeah, I really like this movie. I really like The Lodge. I'm not gonna spoil anything, I promise. But I do think great horror movies transcend the genre. They transcend being just horror movies, and I think this is one of them. It's a good movie first, and it happens to be a really good thriller, really good horror movie. All my favorite horror movies are really good movies. They're not these niche genre, oh, you had to see All Hallows Eve in order to see Terrifier to know who Art the Clown is. I don't give a shit about that shit. Those movies have their place, and they can be really fun, but they're not gonna be in the pantheon of great movies. I don't want to build this up that high, but I do think this is a good movie that happens to be a horror movie. It had twists and turns that had me guessing literally till the end. And it did have that kind of coldness, and I don't mean literally, because it takes place to a lodge they get snowed in. But it has that Austrian, like, there are things that happen in this film that wouldn't happen in an American film. And clearly it is an American film, but I mean, the writers are Austrian. So, of course, I'm going to tie in my boy Michael Haneke and Ulrich Seidel. Like, those movies have a level of brutality and darkness and coldness to them that you don't really see in American movies, and I think that's here, and you see that really with the Alicia Silverstone character. And I'm not going to say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil it, but I really like this. I thought it was a great movie. I give it 4.5 stars. So the next thing I saw was The Standoff at Sparrow Creek, and this movie, it's literally dark, like visually dark, and it is about a group of militiamen that believe they're about to be blamed for a cop's shooting, or a shooting at a cop's funeral. So they're trying to get their shit together and find out if they have somebody inside their organization that was responsible before the hammer falls down and the police come after them. So it's a very, very dude movie. This is a lot of cop jargon, cop logic, like, and I kind of get dazzled by that stuff because I'm bad at following it. Like I told you guys, I think any kind of heist movie, I get confused very easily. With this kind of shit, I kind of feel like a guy in the first row at like a close-up magic thing. I go like, whoa, wow, where'd it go? Because with this kind of jargon, if there's even the most minor twist, whoa. So there's a little bit of that going on. This movie, it did drag a little bit. It mainly takes place in a warehouse. There's not a lot of action. It's mainly this dialogue and these interrogations. Everybody in this movie is fucking wearing Carhartt for some reason. It looks like an ad for Carhartt. So it was a little slow, but it did redeem itself. Just the fact that it was a debut, it was this director's first film, and the choice to make a movie about a shooting in 2018, I think it came out, that speaks volumes. A lot of people wouldn't do that, so I give respect for that, to go over this subject matter when a lot of people wouldn't do it, wouldn't touch it. They want Moonlight. Let's make Moonlight too. So I give them extra points for that. And just the choice to make this thing look so black and tan. It was so black and tan, I almost drank it and relapsed. But seriously, this thing was really, this thing was really black and tan. It looked like a booklet from like a hardcore EP. Like, I don't know if this is a production still from the movie or band photo of the band Cursed. It's hard to tell. Yeah, I was gonna give it 3, but because of the ending, I would give it 4 stars. This is worth watching. Next thing I watched was Personal Shopper. I've been wanting to watch this again for a while. I saw it when it first came out in 2016. I got it on Criterion Blu-ray about a year ago. Not a year, a couple months ago, whatever. Anyway, it's been collecting dust. I kind of buy Blu-rays in order to like force myself to watch things again. So this is one I wanted to watch again. I watched it again just to see if it lived up, because I remember really liking it at the time, but I saw a lot of movies very shit-faced, and now I kind of have to re-watch a lot of things to, like, were they that good, or was I just drunk as fuck? It's part of my life. This one holds up. I really do love this movie. Just the setting is beautiful. The way the camera moves. This is like a ghost story, so the camera kind of moves in a ghostly way. It's kind of like from the point of view of a ghost at certain points in the movie. And Kristen Stewart, she's kind of flat, but the character's kind of flat. So when it needs to rise to the occasion in this movie, she does. This is not like Good Time is the movie that made me realize, holy shit, Robert Pattinson can act, Twilight guy, whatever. This is not that for Kristen Stewart. I mean, she's very good, but I mean, I could give or take her next 5 films. But with Robert Pattinson, I want to see everything he does now. And this movie is a reminder that I don't really know what my own taste is. Like, I'm kind of all over the place. And this is like part ghost story, part thriller, almost part horror movie. But there's supernatural aspects, and then there's like a thriller, true crime aspect. It's a meditation on grief. It's about love. It's about finding yourself. It's about, it has things to say about fame, loneliness. This movie's all across the board. And I'm learning finally that is what I like. I like when you can take a lot of things out of a movie, or a lot of things are in a movie. That's why I don't really not fall for like lack of intelligence, but that's why I'm not really a fan of genre movies, things that are just one thing. That's why I don't have a lot of fucking Bruce Campbell movies on my shelf, because I need that prism to have like different fucking wavelengths. I need that out of my movies. I can't just do a movie that's just one thing. Although there are a lot of movies that are one thing that are really good, but I can't think of any right now. So yeah, I really like Kristen Stewart's character in this movie. She's literally waiting for a sign from her dead brother, and I think that's very relatable, and it's very universal. Waiting for a sign. I mean, it's the literal kind of supernatural. She's a medium in the movie, but she's more waiting for a sign for permission to continue living her life. Not so much just a sign that, oh my God, there's an afterlife. This movie isn't as black and white as that. Although that's there, but it's also just permission to be authentic, permission to live. And I think that's very relatable, and it's a beautiful movie, and I highly recommend it. 4 stars. And the last thing I watched was Assholes. I don't know how the fuck I found this movie. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes long. So what I did was I searched John Waters on Amazon Prime looking for his movies, and this came up. It's like, okay, let me check this out. I watched the trailer, and it didn't really reveal much other than this had gotten the Nathaniel Hornblower Award. So that got my interest, because Nathaniel Hornblower, for those of you that don't know, is Adam Yauch, rest in peace, from the Beastie Boys. It's his character where he crashed the VMAs back in 1994. And he's not a real person, so I didn't know there was an award. So I guess this is a real award. It's given out at South by Southwest, and it is for the movie, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's basically if you reject norms, are wholly your own, and do not desire to conform. This movie is all of those things. This movie does not desire to conform. This movie borderlines on pornography at certain points. At other times, it's basically just like an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on fucking rocket fuel and acid, and it literally has jump scares. It's a weird movie. It's a very weird movie. It follows a couple that relapses from trying to not do drugs, and they become addicted to poppers, which is I forgot about poppers. But yeah, they become addicted to poppers, and then this insane journey of them becoming assholes in New York City. And there's these weird, like, kind of jackass, kind of trigger happy TV, like where it's semi-staged, but there's real people reacting to them being insane on the streets. So that was interesting to watch. This was interesting to watch, but I wouldn't recommend it. 2.5 stars. And that's all I've got for this week. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what you've been watching. Make sure to follow on Instagram at Outdoor Deluxe, and on Letterboxd at Ween, WEEEN. Oh, and Twitter. There's a Twitter at Outdoor Deluxe. Thank you. Have a good day.